Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. Presents Women Emerge with Mellisa Lambert, a show that shines a light on spiritual growth, health, purpose, and financial education. It's time to emerge and begin to live out your dreams, walk into your destiny, while making a difference in the lives of many.
Welcome to Women Emerge with Chaplain Dr. Mellisa Lambert. I am your host, so welcome back. Welcome back to Women Emerge. I am so excited about today's conversation. So thank you for tuning in today. As always, we are going to really dive right in. I really love coming here and having great dialogues with you to make sure you understand everything that I do and what is to come. And I want you to be a part of this journey. I don't believe I write just for me personally or write for legacy or write just to make sure my books are being seen, but I write for you. I write so you can understand. I write for you to be helped. I write for you to get clarity. I write for you as practical tools that you can use within your life. So on today's episode, I'm going to talk about the family circle, building legacy through prayer, purpose, and focus. I'm going to say that again. So today I will be talking about the family circle. That includes you, mommy, daddy, sister, brother, uncle, auntie, nephew, nieces. That's a family circle, right? Or if you're just only you by yourself with your two kids, as a single mom or a single dad, that's your family circle, right? So I'm going to talk about building legacy through prayer, purpose, and focus. So I truly believe the family circle really holds us, shapes us, and ultimately leaves behind a legacy for generations to come. And when I talk about legacy, y'all understand, not everybody leaves a legacy. So my prayer is that you will, not just a legacy financially, but a legacy where it continues to grow, right? It continues to progress. It continues to expand beyond your days on this earth, right? So let's really make sure that is happening with our children, being present so they can understand why, what is our mission, what is our purpose, what is our goal, and allow them to be able to say, you know what, I want to fulfill that for mommy. I want to fulfill that for daddy, okay? So let's dive in today. So when I look back over my own journey, God has used me in so many ways, as a vessel to write books, not just to inspire you, but to equip families with practical tools, right? So I write for the babies, with Beauty and Me, Chelsea's book. I write for a family that may have lost their child through childbirth or something in that sense of while they were a child, a baby. That's the book. I understand. I lost a son, and Chelsea lost a sibling too. So I also write for the teen or the middle schoolers, which is, you're going to hear more about that. I write for the older teenager, young adult. You're going to hear about that. I write for the single woman. I write for the husbands. I write for the wives, right? So I write for the entire family. So I realized that these books are not isolated messages. They're actually connect like links to a chain. They connect like links to a chain. If you think about all of the books that I will be mentioning, it's all connected together within the family. So each one speaks to a different stage of your life, and together they bring wholeness to the family circle. And that is one of my aim as an author, as I write, not just to write for namesake, but to write for purpose and to see that purpose be fulfilled within the family circle. So today, I want to share with you how each book And I'm not going to talk about the first two I listed, but I will talk about the ones that I'm going to be putting into place, which I think is about 5 of them I'm going to talk about today. How each of these books can transform your life, your home, and when combined together, they create a powerful, did you hear me say powerful? Powerful foundation that no storm can shake. Like here in Florida, we go through our stormy season. And then they do tell us when it's going to happen. They even name the storms, right? And it would say, oh, Andrew's coming or Peter's coming or Paul. They have a name, a male name. I can't remember a female name. They may have female storms name, but I've always heard some kind of man. Why is always a man having a storm? It could be the storm. Why is that, guys? I'm sorry. That's a joke. But, with these storms, like, we don't know. Like, I remember one of these storms that came in July. Was it July? Yeah, I think it was July. When I tell you my backyard looked like a tornado hit it, because not only mine, but everyone in the community back gates. I mean our gate, but our backyard, the fence. They all just came right down. They're not so strong fences, right? It was all knocked down. So I was like, oh, they better hurry and fix these, because some of our neighbors got dogs, and some of the people like to keep their dogs playing in the backyard or whatnot. But storms come to shake things up. And again, as I shared, that these books will create powerful foundations. That's what I'm saying. If your foundation is secured, if your foundation is laid on something that is not going to be moving, is anchored, no storm, no wind, no rain can shake it. And that's what we're talking about when it comes to the family circle. So let's dive in. I promise you I'm not going to be here long, but I want to get to the point with everything. All right. So the first book I want to discuss is Focus. I wrote Focus last year, and Focus is a 90-day journal. So I like to move in quarters. So every quarter, you can get a copy of Focus, right? Focus is basically that journal your day from start to finish. Give you some concept of what your day looks like, what your day, what has happened within your day, different goals that you're setting for the day, for the week. Everything is just laid and found in the foundation of Focus. And every month you have a vision board for the month, and you create that and you put that in place. Your finance, your budgeting, all that is in place. Even for these teenagers, when I say late teenagers, here in Florida at 14 you can start working. And I know when Chelsea turned 14, we go into Publix, honey. So yeah, she will learn budgeting skills. She will learn how much to save, how much to put into her infinite banking, how much to pay herself, how much to pay God, her 10%. That's a process of that too. So yes, she can use the budgeting section of that book, at that time to kind of understand what that looks like. I may even have her pay her own phone bill, right? So she can understand responsibility. So responsibility don't start when we're adults. Responsibility starts when we are a child. Train them up in the way they should go. That's what the Bible says. So they won't depart from the word of truth, which is the word of God, but also what you have taught them as parents, right? So I love Focus. Focus acronym is following one course until successful. I'm going to say it again, Focus. Following one course until successful. It's really for everyone to use. You can use it if you are a mother, a father, anyone, male, female, young adult, early teen. When I say early teen, I would suggest like a 14-year-old to start with something like this. 13-year-old, they just came out of being 12, so they still have that mindset. At 14, they're just like, they're entering high school. And being in high school, there's a lot of, things that they have to accomplish and want to do and stuff like that. So I believe Focus is great for a 14 and up, right? So you can actually get a focus for you and get a focus for them. And y'all can do it together. Every quarter, you're looking into that book, and you're even can go back and say, wow, look what I've accomplished this year. Because your focus, you've purchased, I would say purchase four. Purchase for the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. Don't even have, I will purchase all four at the same time and put them down. And when you're ready, you get up and pick up the second quarter, pick up the third quarter, pick up the fourth quarter. Okay, so let's start with the youth, or even these teens and young adults. We know that this is one of the most challenging stages in life. Many distractions, especially when they go to high school, then go to college, and they have so many other distractions when it comes to social media, their TikTok, their Instagrams, right? My daughter will say, or my sister will say, oh, Facebook is for the old people. But Facebook, okay? I know these younger kids are more likely TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram per se. They even have peer pressures, right? Uncertainty about their self, their future, what they want to do, what they want to be, how they look, all these things, right? That's why I wrote Focus. Again, following one course until successful. This book guides young people, young adults, the adults in themselves, to have a daily discipline tracking system within this book every single day, and making each hour count. Sometimes, I've had days where I don't even want to do nothing but just get out of my head. So when I don't want to do nothing but get out of my head, I will put on a Netflix and I'll put a series on and let that thing flow and run until I can be like, okay, get up out of yourself, Mellisa, wake up. It's time to get back to reality, right? But when you have focus, you just literally lock in your day. You lock in your day every single minute every single hour of the day, and you kind of guide yourself and keep that as a tracker to discipline yourself throughout the day. By the end of the week, you were like, wow, I had a lot to accomplish. By the end of the month, you're going to be like, oh, my gosh, look at how much I've accomplished. By the end of the first quarter, you're going to be like, wow. Second quarter, wow. Third, you're going to be like, dang, I really stayed focused. There you go. So it helps them to understand success doesn't come from doing 100 things halfway. It comes from committing to one thing fully until it bears fruits. So even with me, I have multiple things that I do. I always find I'm always doing something, right? But even though I have multiple things, it all connects to the one source of what my purpose is to serve God's people on purpose. Everywhere I go, everything I do, is ministry for me. Right? So I'll always lead everything back to my God-given purpose. So yes, you can do multiple things, but as long as you can complete it, you can do it. But if you cannot, stick to one thing until you can master that successful thing, right? So let's imagine a teenager in your home who has vision, direction, and resilience. Oh, can you imagine? Parents, can you imagine your teenager having vision, direction, and resilience? Instead of drifting, they are building. Instead of following the crowd, these teenagers, they're leading with confidence. When our young people grasp the power of focus, I truly believe they strengthen the family circle, because their choice today shape the legacy or the leader they will be tomorrow. And you can look up and say, oh my gosh, that's my baby, right? I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of him, because you cannot pat yourself on the back and say, I did something for them from the beginning stage to teach them, to show them how to stay focused. So this is also a book for the entire family. Y'all can do it together to participate in each, with it, and be able to share your daily journey and share your wins together. each and every one of you in the family circle, can share that dream, share that vision, share what you guys have learned together. All right, so that's focus, following one course until successful. My next book is all for my single ladies. Hey, single ladies, that's one of my favorite book, y'all. 21 Days of Prayer for My Future Husband. This is for the single ladies, preparing you for your marriage, preparing you for your husbands, but not preparing you where you're doing the preparation of, say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get married tomorrow. No, you're praying for this man. You're interceding for this man before he even come into your life by a date, before he even come into your life by a look. You are interceding on his behalf prior. So now before families are formed, right, we often have the season of singleness. We know that. Singleness is not a waiting room. Y'all hear me and hear me loud. Singleness is not a waiting room. It's preparation ground, right? So you're preparing yourself on that ground to get out of that phase of being single and ready to marry. And when I say you're married, you're going to now go forth and date intentionally, right? It's not I'm going to go on a date. No, it's intentional. So my book, 21 Days of Prayer for My Future Husband, gives single women a framework to pray with clarity and faith. Let me just stop right here and just kind of go back into a commercial break. You are tuned in again to Women Emerge with Chaplain Dr. Mellisa Lambert. I am excited to come before you today, and I am talking about the topic, the family circle, building legacy through prayer, purpose, and focus. I'm going over the books, all my books, not all my books, but the last 5 books that adds to the family circle and completes the family circle. And the first book was Focus, which is following one course until successful. That's for the the early teenage to young adult. And that can be also a family-oriented book or journal. And the second book now we're talking about is the 21 Days of Prayer for My Future Husband. That is for our single ladies, yes. And as I was saying to you, is that this 21 Days of Prayer for My Future Husband gives single women a framework to pray with clarity and faith. It's not about desperation. It's about preparation. You ain't desperate. You're preparing for the greater things that God has for you, which includes your kingdom husband. This book will teach women to pray for their future spouses' health, pray for their future spouses' wisdom, pray for their future spouses' faith, and even pray for their future spouses' purpose. More importantly, it does teaches you to also pray for for yourself to be whole, healed, and ready to walk in covenant love, right? So as you are diving into these 21 days, you're now reflecting, you're now thinking, you're now believing, you're now praying, you're now questioning, but also listening to God for the answers, right? So this is one of my favorite books, y'all. This is one of my favorite books. As a single woman myself, I go through this book more than once. I don't really I would do it, say, the last time I did this book was, I believe I started back over again in August. Yeah, last month. Because I remember I did it, I think, early in the year. Then I did it again in August. And I will start on October 1st. I am going to be starting with a couple of ladies, to kind of gear them up to this 21 Days of Prayer. So October 1st is my next startup point with this book. And I believe that this is not a book that you just do one time, 21 days, and that's it. No, it's an ongoing prayer book. So I would suggest, read it and do it the first time. The second time, read it and read what you have also wrote the first time. The third time, just believe for it as you read it, right? And continue to believe for it as you read it, because it's not only a reading book, it's also a doing book. That's why I said the first time you're reading and you're doing, the second time you're reading, you're reading what you have wrote, and the third time you're believing for what you have written. All right, so I truly, truly love this book. This book is a big reminder that when he comes, he will be ready, and so will I. I mean, again, my favorite book. I believe when we prepare spiritually before marriage, we prevent unnecessary heartbreak. We can also prevent confusion, and we can also prevent broken cycles. That's what my belief is. Your belief may be different, but that's mine, okay? This book helps women step into relationship with intentionality. I talked about that, earlier. I said, when you're going to date this time, you will date with intention. You would date knowing that I'm not dating just for fun or just to hang out. I'm dating for purpose, to be married. And that intentionality can build the future family's foundation. So I say the same thing to a single man. When you're dating to be married, you need to date with that same intention. The same way you're intentionally, knowing that every Sunday when it's football season, you watching football. That's, some people do that every single Sunday, or Monday they watch, whatever those sports are that you watch. If you're so committed to your sports, be committed to your prayer life. Be committed to you seeking God for this woman that you're going to say I do to. Be intentional on that as well. So again, that's my favorite book. But I will always say, as an author, you will always say that's my favorite. This is my favorite. I've written a lot, so they're all my favorite. But that 21 days, So the third and fourth book, I say third and fourth because this book is really a companion. These two books are companion books. And Lord, I'm telling you, the wives and the husbands going to love this book. So there are, these two books were birthed out of me in August and September when I did the 365 Days of Prayer and Affirmation for the man I love. In August, September came around, and the Spirit of God said, how are you going to do one for the woman, the wives, but not do one for the man? So I was like, God, I'm a woman writing a book for man, right? He was like, yeah, I know that. And then a friend of mine said, Mellisa, why don't you gather some of us guys to talk to put the message together within the book? I said, what about me doing all 12? And he was like, yeah, one for each month. And I said, yeah. And then I also needed a forward. So that's 13. Then God told me, get the 14th person and let them summarize everything up each month. And when I told you, these guys, they delivered. They signed, sealed, and delivered. You hear me? Okay. So many people, I believe, this is, again, my belief, once the vows are spoken, right, in front of everybody, or even in front of the judge by itself, or in front of a chaplain like myself, everybody think that marriage begins there. Do you think marriage begins when you just say, I do? I mean, legally, yes. But we all know marriage doesn't thrive on love alone. We know that. It thrives on prayer. That's what it's supposed to thrive first, on prayer. Words of affirmation, positivity, and daily commitment. It's a commitment to, that's why it says to death do us part. Okay? That's what it says, to death do us. That's a daily commitment. That's why I created 365 Days of Prayer and Affirmation for the man and for the woman I love. These are companion books designed to help husbands, designed to help wives cover one another in prayer every single day of the year. It is 365 days in the year, okay? Every day. It takes less than 5 minutes to repeat the covering over your spouse. They're worth more than 5 minutes, and you know that. But you're going to take that time to do that and speak those words out over them. A marriage that prays together, this is what I've learned. A marriage that prays together builds a home that cannot be easily shaken. You heard me talk about that earlier, the foundation. No wind, no rain, no storm should shake your foundation if it's laid in God, if the foundation is laid in prayer. These books are tools to help keep the love alive, strengthen the communication, and set a spiritual covering over the husband, a spiritual covering over the wife, which ultimately sets a spiritual covering over the entire family. All right? My prayer is to see marriages build on the foundation of God, which cannot be shaken. I'm going to say that again. This is my prayer, y'all. This is why I do what I do, is to see marriages built on the foundation of God, which cannot be shaken and cannot stand the test of time. As a chaplain, I want to be a part of that beginning stage, the starting point, even from the beginning, before you say, I do, and lay this foundation that will allow you to bring it from the beginning into the marriage. That's one of the reasons why I got my chaplaincy, to officiate weddings and other things, yes, to go into hospitals, to go into, to those places where I'm needed to pray and to give a word. This is one of the reasons why I do what I do. And that foundation is laid from the beginning. So just imagine I'm your chaplain that's going to officiate your wedding. You got to come in through counseling with me, 6 weeks of counseling, right? After that, within that counseling session, each of you will get a copy of this book, and you will get the guide to, before I say I do, for the counseling session that we will do, right? All this is going to happen, and we're doing it from the beginning. So when you walk down the aisle, your foundation is already laid. That's the power. I would love to be able to say, in my days of chaplaincy, I've married over 1,000+ people, and look at them now, a year from now, 2 years, 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. God's willing, I'm here to see you all have a successful relationship, marriage based and laid on the foundation of prayer and the foundation of God. Ooh, that's my heart's desire. That's my prayer, is to see marriages built on the foundation of God, which cannot be shaken and can stand the test of time. This is my hope, y'all, and my desire. And I pray that God will allow me to see it being fulfilled in Jesus' name. Thank you again for tuning in, y'all. We're almost there. I'm about to wrap this up. Okay. I get excited because, I know for a fact the greatness that is coming towards me. Sometimes it takes people months, years, maybe a year or two. It's been taking me a very long time to get where I am today. And I'm just in awe. Y'all, I'm not going to cry. I'm in awe of God. And to see how he took my writing to a place where it's centered and it brought together the family unit. And even this fifth book, the fifth book that's going to close in the family circle, I remember when I wrote this, when this book was birthed inside of me. I was sitting in my room. My daughter in that morning came and I went into her room to wake her up for school, and she was in so much pain. And she said, Mommy, please don't send me to school. And I felt her heart. And I know when my daughter just wanna just not go, but this time I know she cannot go. So I said, okay. I said, but you're gonna stay asleep, and in a few hours I will come wake you up so you can finish up some schoolwork. She's used to that because we did homeschooling for 3 years, so she's used to like not really, you know, if she is sick, she works, lay for a minute and then wake up and start back schoolwork because it doesn't stop, right? So I'm so thankful though that she even it. Yes, I didn't expect for her to be sick, but because she got sick, this final book closed the circle. She came in my room and she began to share. She began to share her story about what's going on in her class, what's happening with this girl and this guy. And I was just like listening to the drama, listen to all the stuff that she's saying. And I'm like, dag, okay, Chelsea. And lo and behold, after she left, the Spirit of God dropped this book, This Is Me, a middle school student's guide to confidence, friendships, and future dreams. One of the things that you find with these middle schoolers, their confidence is lacking. They're struggling with so many obstacles, too heavy. Um, acne on their face, or their hair is not. There's so much for them, and so that it drops their self-esteem, and their confidence is not there. So this guy will help with their confidence. Friendship is another big thing. Who's my friend and who's not? Like, right? Or do I have friends or do I not? Am I the popular girl or I'm not? Or am I the one that everyone will tease? Friendship is something for these kids, and this is a foundation stage for them building positive friendship, and then future dreams. At this stage, once they're leaving out of middle school, they're going to enter high school as freshmen. Their future are now wide open. What does that look like? In my daughter's school in 8th grade, they can start the program at the hospital taking, different certification if they're looking to go into the nursing field. So at that time, they're even preparing them. In 9th grade, they're giving them the opportunity to even register in a dual program. By 10th grade, they're now in a dual program where they can receive their associate degree when they finish up high school. So their future now starts building out of just the last year, which is 8th grade. They're kind of finding themselves, trying to figure out what they want to do, especially going into high school. So this book for me was like, okay, Lord, these middle schoolers need help. And this book was birthed just from hearing the heart of Chelsea. I believe middle school years is such a delicate season for them. I'm watching my baby grow. I'm watching Chelsea develop. I'm watching her, find her identity. Like, it's a delicate season for them. I'm not perfect as a mom either. I'm still trying to figure her out and figure everything out with her. Right? Children are discovering who they are at this season, figuring out friendships and starting to shape their dreams. But they are also battling insecurity, peer pressure, and identity struggles. This Is Me was birthed to give middle school students a voice, a sense of identity, and a roadmap for confidence. And that's what I love about this book. And I have put together this book, and I am partnering with a middle school teacher, and he's also a reverend. He's also a pastor. I am partnering with him to write this book. I've completed my side of what I wanted to share and put in, and I'm just going to have him kind of wrap things up inside of that book as well. But I'm excited about that, because now you hear a counselor, you hear a chaplain, but now you will hear a heart from a person that is teaching them, a middle school teacher. that teach history, a middle school teacher that teaches the basketball team, a middle school teacher who sees them and hears them and knows how they see their challenges on a daily basis. And he's also a pastor, a husband, a father, a friend. So I'm excited about just even the partnership with, I call him Mr. McKay, Reverend McKay. And I believe that this is going to be such a beautiful moment, for these middle schoolers. This book will teach them to embrace their uniqueness too. This book will teach them how to choose their friends wisely. And this book will also allow them to dream boldly about their future. So when our children know who they are, they won't be shaken by who others say they are. Remember that. You don't want them to ever be shaken by who others say they are. They're confident as young adults. I mean young youth, young children, right? And this is going to help them make confidence decision when they become older, young adults into adulthood. And it's going to help them build stronger families as well as they age into that space where they're now getting married, having children, right? So the foundation for me starts at a young age and builds from there. So, again, you're tuned in to Women Emerge with Chaplain Mellisa Lambert, Chaplain Dr. Mellisa Lambert. And I love this conversation today. I have been talking about the family circle, building legacy through prayer, purpose, and focus. I went over the 5 books that I have written. First one was Focus, Following One Course Until Successful. The second book was for the single ladies, 21 Days of Prayer for My Future Husband. The third and fourth book is 365 Days of Prayer and Affirmation for the Man I Love, and 365 Days of Prayer and Affirmation for the Woman I Love. This is for marriage and covenant, those 2 books. And the 5th book I just finalized talking to you about is called This Is Me, a middle school student's guide to confidence, friendships, and future dreams. So the family circle connection. And I think that's what these 5 books really represent for me. Now, here's the powerful part. When you put all these books together, you create a family ecosystem. I love that. That is what I wanted to create, a family ecosystem. The teens learn to focus and lead by example. The single woman is preparing her heart for covenant love, right? The husband and the wife are affirming and covering one another daily. The middle school child is confident now, secure now, and dreaming about their future. So this is the family circle. Every stage of life is nurtured. Every stage of life is covered, and every stage of life is empowered. I believe, this is my belief, y'all. Listen, y'all can believe whatever you want to believe, but I'm going to say these books don't just sit on the shelf. They are a blueprint for generational legacy. I say that again, blueprint for generational legacy. They are conversation starters at the dinner table. So what did you read today? What did you learn today? What did you write in today? Those are conversational pieces at the dinner table. They are prayers whispered at bedtime. Y'all can, as husbands, you can say your prayer over her before she go to bed. As wives, say the prayer over him before y'all close your eyes. There are affirmations that echo in the heart long after the words are spoken. So My prayer is that you see how powerful your family can become when each member has the right tools. And I'm giving you the right tools. I want you to imagine your home as a circle, everyone covered. Imagine your home as a circle where everyone is connected. Imagine your home as a circle where everyone is growing. So you can get all these books. The last 3 books that I mentioned will be out very soon. I would say the manuscripts are all done, but they're in publication stage right now. The Wife's book is going to be the first published one. The second book the second one that will be released will be the husband's book, and the last one that will be released is the middle schoolers. But Focus is already out, and the 21 Days of Prayer for my future husband is also out, and you can go to MellisaBooks.com. That's MellisaBooks.com, MellisaBooks.com. Go ahead and place your order, right? And for pre-orders, you can always connect back with me at Dr. Mellisa Lambert at gmail.com. DrMellisaLambert. That's Dr. Mellisa Lambert at gmail.com to do your pre-order for the husband and the wife's book and your middle schooler. So you can get all 3 in one, right? I'll figure out a way we can do a bundle for you, okay? And this is how we build our family library. Invest in your future. Invest in your children. Invest in your marriage. Invest in your singlehood. Invest, ladies. Invest, husbands, right? Because when your family is strong, your community is stronger. And when communities are strong, nations are transformed. So I always have this saying. My goal is to do what? Always love God. I seek first the kingdom of God, because everything else will be added onto me. Serve people. I serve people. I serve God's people. And my goal is as I serve you, as I share with you, I want to show you how to also leave a legacy. The Bible tells us leave an inheritance for your children's children. So I love God. I serve people, and I show you how to leave a legacy. Again, you have been tuned in to Women Emerge with Chaplain Dr. Mellisa Lambert, and it's always an honor and a privilege to come before you another day, another week. Thank you for tuning in to Women Emerge. I am so excited to always know that you are listening, you're tuning in, you're also sharing this with people you like, love, and trust. And I'm saying to you, even your worst enemy, just forward and send it to them. I am on all 13 top podcasts. So if you missed the live on the radio, you can find me on any of the 13 top podcasts at Women Emerge with Mellisa, Mellisa Lambert, on any of the 13 top podcasts. You can also go right to my YouTube channel, Women Emerge Network on YouTube, and all my podcasts will show up there. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave me a comment. Don't forget to say, hey, Mellisa. Don't forget to go to my financial website, LambertLegacyFinancial.com, LambertLegacyFinancial.com. I want to help you put that legacy together, right? That's why it says Legacy in Lambert, okay? So thank you again for tuning in. Please don't forget to follow me on every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here under WomenEmergeRadio.com. tune into womenemergeradio.com on EB Radio. And on Facebook, Mellisa S. Lambert, that's Mellisa S. Lambert. And on Facebook, under Women Emerge Network, Women Emerge Wellness, and Lambert Legacy Financial. It's a lot of follows, y'all. Just follow me, okay? I'm on Instagram, TikTok at Dr. Mellisa Lambert, all right? And if you want to, again, if you're ready to transform your financial future, visit LambertLegacyFinancial.com. LambertLegacyFinancial.com. You can also email me at Mellisa, Mellisa, at CoreFinancialPartners.com. So let's emerge on the journey to really build your family. Let's emerge on the journey to build your family. So I hope this was helpful. Today was a great subject. I love this subject. I literally dig deeper into giving you more clarity on my books. Today's conversation was The Family Circle, Building Legacy Through Prayer, Focus, and Purpose. Prayer, purpose, and focus, okay? I gave you an understanding of all the 5 books that's within this family circle, starting with the first book, Focus, following one course until successful. My second book, 21 Days of Prayer for My Future Husband. The third and fourth book is a companionship book, which is for the husband and the wife, 365 Days of Prayer and Affirmation for the Man I Love, and 365 Days of Prayer and Affirmation for the Woman I Love. Remember, that's a covenant book for the couples. And the last and final book that I shared with you was This Is Me, a middle school student's guide to confidence, friendship, and future dreams. I hope, I pray that this episode did help you. And I'm asking you to do me a favor. Tell somebody, share it with somebody, support, build your family one book at a time. I am excited about the fact that all the books are always on paperback as well as in an ebook format. Very soon I'm going to have it on Audible so you can not only read it, see it on Audible, but also hear it. So that's the aim and my aim and determination to release the first 2 sets, which is paperback and ebook, and then the final phase of these books is for me to turn them all into, except for Focus. Focus is not a book that you do on Audible, but every other book will have an Audible version that can be you can listen to while you actually start your journey. So I thank you again for tuning in to Women Emerge with Chaplain Dr. Mellisa Lambert. It's always an honor to serve you on purpose, and I look forward to getting to know you, getting to support you, and getting to walk alongside you on this journey. Until next time, take care, take charge, and continue to be great. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Women Emerge with Mellisa Lambert, where Mellisa speaks with leaders, experts, and motivators who share their journeys and their stories through personal and professional growth, knowledgeable tips, and lessons learned that will empower you to grow. Follow Mellisa and Women Emerge Network on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at MELLISA SLAMBERT and at Women Emerge Network. And visit www.womenemergenetwork.com. Remember, when you know better, you can do better, especially when God is for you.